Welcome to the Sharp Boy Show. So happy to have you here with me for a chunk of your evening. And yes, it is a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And tonight will be a very special show. I'm talking about the one, the only, Kathy Hochul, having a Wednesdays with Kathy discussion, which I have not had in months. It is nutty. In months, I haven't had it. And I'm going to start right now to talk about it because it will be interesting. And I think most of you didn't even pay attention. Most people didn't. She was sworn in earlier this week, and most people were like, whatever. I get it. You're probably right. Most of it is just whatevs. But what she says does matter. What people clap for does matter. What her policies, do matter. They affect us, and we should be talking about them. And I will. But you know what matters? Again, if you are watching this on Twitter, do me a favor. Make sure you are following and have subscribed to the Sharp Way Twitter, and you retweet this. That would be very nice if you would do so. So please do that if you would on Sharp Way Twitter. As you see, I'm trying to move things towards Sharp Way. I'm not shadow banned on Sharp Way. I'm shadow banned every place else, but not on Sharp Way. So if we can go there, that would help tremendously. I'm going to start already. I'm just going to go right in, and I'm going to start. Her speech is a little bit long. I'm not going to cover some of the earlier parts. Most of the earlier parts of her speech are literally just her pandering and saying how awesome women are, which women are awesome, but that shouldn't matter with her, but it seems to. ID politics are critical with her, and you will see as she moves forward talking about this right away.
Audacious women and a few enlightened men, there's a lot of them around, like Frederick Douglass at the time. They gathered in Seneca Falls.
So she's been chatting about how powerful women are everywhere. This is her inauguration speech. She's not saying all the things she's accomplished or what she's going to accomplish. She leads. She starts with, and this is before you need to watch this, saying how awesome all the government leaders are. She literally announces Chuck Schumer and all the people who are so amazing. Meanwhile, our state and country, they're a disaster. But she says how awesome they all are. She begins that, thanks to her family and such, which is normal. And then just starts talking about wonderful New York women. I'm not joking. It's minutes of her just talking about 200 years ago, 100 years ago, many women, and now begrudgingly says, and some men, one who happens to be a man of color, she brings that up. Now, again, am I against you bringing up women? No. Am I against you bringing up people of color? Of course not. But this has become the norm for every speech she does. Why does that matter? Because if you constantly have to bring up women and people of color in every single speech, the second you don't, you're a bad person. That's why this is bad precedent. You should absolutely bring up women when it matters. You should bring up people of color when it matters. You shouldn't do it as the norm. You should bring up the people who are affected that matter. That makes sense. She does it every single speech. I'm not joking. You cannot find one when she does not focus on women and people of color every single speech. This is not healthy for us or society or for her, because it means that if you attack her in any way, you are by default punching down. See how that works? If you say she's wrong or bad or whatever, you are punching down because clearly you hate people of color and or women. She constantly does this. It's not healthy.
Where's Seneca Falls? How do you find it without GPS? This was hundreds of years ago. But people found their way to this place, the crossroads of New York.
Yep.
And they stood up and they fought and they said, we're sick and tired of this existence. Mm-hmm. And they declared that all men and women are created equal. And they,
okay, that's good. Yes.
And they pursued the right to vote.
Yes, they did.
Radical concept at the time, the right to vote. Women can't vote. If you read all the arguments, they're absurd.
Yep, she's right.
But since then,
yeah,
New York women have been the trailblazers for the rest of our nation.
True.
For they overcame every barrier to push.
I like the history lesson. It's nice. But is there, and I would ask anybody, if you're listening in this audience now, is there someone in this audience now who honestly believes that the right to vote for women in New York State, and I mean that, she's the governor of New York, that the right to vote for women in New York State is somehow under attack. I don't see any attack whatsoever of women's right to vote in New York State at all. If anything, there is ballot conspiracy, which I felt, if anything, but not voter conspiracy. Voters get to vote in New York State. We have decent voting registration laws. We have good laws when it comes to it. Compared to other states, we're doing fine. There is literally no issue in New York State, but she's bringing this up. She is the queen of straw manning. I mean, the queen of straw manning. She creates problems that don't exist, arguments no one's arguing, fights that aren't be fought about. It's not an issue in New York State. Perhaps there are states where that's an issue. Not here.
Despite all the odds.
What odds?
Names like Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Sojourner Truth, whose statue is in my office. Harriet Tubman, whose life story I read when I was 8 years old, and I treasured it. The struggles this young woman did and ended up living in Auburn, New York.
You're not going through that.
Life. Susan B. Anthony, against the tides of her time.
Hold on, I got to put this up. I do love this. Sam says, "Hi, my name is Kathy Hochul. I have female body parts and write checks." Every single speech. That you know what? I can stop the live, Sam. You have summed up the entire speech. Mwah, perfectly. Perfectly. Was that chef's kiss? Mwah, perfect. That is exactly every speech, Sam. "Hi, I'm Kathy Hochul. I have female body parts and I write checks." Yes, yes, and yes. I perfect. Yes.
I'm from Rochester, going around the country, friends with Frederick Douglass. And you heard Mama Dukes mention Shirley Chisholm. I was a young staffer on Capitol Hill. I knew Shirley Chisholm because she was actually buried in Buffalo. She fell in love with a man from Buffalo. I used to see her all the time.
So you know
what
everybody.
An inspiration, standing up.
Okay.
Who would have thought a woman of color could run for president of the United States?
Okay.
And then we have Hillary Clinton, another New Yorker.
Boo.
She has been.
Oh, look, no one has. Oh, see that? See that? People didn't clap for her. Do you know why? You may like Hillary Clinton. I know there's some people who do, clearly. And maybe you do. Okay. But please don't call her a New Yorker. She lives here now. That's true. But she's not a New Yorker. I mean, I guess now she is. If she would run for Senate now in New York, I would respect her more. Because at least now she's lived in New York for a period of time now. But she walked over here and said, "Hi, I'm famous. Can I be a senator?" And we went, yes. Shame on us as New Yorkers for doing that. Shame on us as New Yorkers for doing that. Terrible.
An inspiration to me from the very beginning. And then we think about the women who transformed the Supreme Court before it went in this direction. Justices Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Elena Kagan, and Sonia Sotomayor.
Think about this. When she was putting this speech together, she was like, can I talk about my accomplishments? And the people were like, "What accomplishments? You haven't done anything." Damn, you're right. Well, I'm a woman, right? You are a woman. That's true. Can I talk about great women? Do that for like 20 minutes. And there's more. I didn't show you the rest. I cut down to just this.
And as I mentioned, we live among legends like Dr. Hazel Dukes, who is still to this day at 91 saying we still have that march toward justice. It's not finished yet. We're still working together.
Still working.
Each of the women I mentioned redefined leadership in their own way.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
They paved the way.
Yes.
For others to follow.
Yes. Look at what she says. Her thing, if you can read it in the background, it says, "Making history, making a difference." That's what it says. Making history. She's not the first woman governor elected. The first woman governor was like out west. I think was it Oregon or Idaho? Out west somewhere. I forgot where it was. Maybe it was Wyoming. I think it was Wyoming in like the 1800s. That's the first woman who was, she couldn't vote. Women couldn't vote and there was a woman governor. Already happened, right? Like, she's not the first one. There's been, and like New Jersey had a woman governor, right? We've had women governors before. She's not the first. She's so high on her own supply. She's the first women elected governor in New York. That's true. So what? That doesn't make you great.
And to be clear, it wasn't just because they're women that they made their mark.
Yeah, that's what you keep saying.
They embodied the courage and the character that still defines New Yorkers to this day.
Yes.
And above all, they were fighters.
That's true.
And now as I stand before you, humbled by this honor,
Now, how dare her say humbled by this honor? She just put herself literally in the same boat as greats. She put herself above, by the way she spoke, Frederick Douglass. She put herself in the same boat as all these great women. All these great women, she put herself in that boat. She's not in that boat. She's not, and then goes, I'm humbled. Stop. Absolutely not. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So Roger says, Larry, this woman just signed into law a pay raise for New York State Legislature. So in 2018, Cuomo did what? I don't know what you're, from 75, 79 to 110, she took it to 124. We are still number one in income inequality, then brags minimum wage. Yes, thank you, Roger. She is giving the, why do you think everyone is there clapping, Roger? Because those are all people who she's given pay raises to. Those are all people who she's given jobs. She's written checks for all those people. If you give me a job for 6 figures a year, a great pension, great benefits, and as long as you're in power, I keep that job, I'll clap for you too. I don't mean to be cruel, but I'd clap for you too. I get it. I get why they're clapping. It's just terrible.
I'm ready to take on the fight.
What fight? What fight?
To paraphrase one of our former governors, Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay, wow.
People have now chosen a woman to be in the arena. You've heard of the man in the arena. There's now a woman in the arena.
God.
And that man and that woman are willing to be marred by dust and sweat and blood to strive valiantly and spend herself in a worthy cause.
What cause?
The sign says, I didn't come here to make history. I came here to make a difference and to pursue the worthy causes.
What worthy causes?
Pursue them together.
Tell me what they are.
And as your governor, I'll keep fighting for you every single day.
Okay, if you want to fight for me, how about fighting for people to be able to survive in New York State? How about that? If you really want to fight for me, and I know you don't, but in theory, if you did, wouldn't you be saying, I'm going to fight to make sure that you can survive and thrive in New York State? Because I want you to keep your families together and not have the youth run away and the retirees run away. Why aren't you saying that? That's a fight that I would like, right? That's a fight that I want. Be that fighter, but you're not that fighter. You're a fighter for more checks to your friends. That you're good at. You do fight for your friends, but nobody else.
And this is what I know about New Yorkers.
Tell me.
Just like
what do you know?
Lieutenant governors do a lot of traveling. I know every corner of this state.
Everything. Tell me.
New Yorkers are tough.
Yeah.
They're undeterred. They're unafraid.
Utterly lies. She's just pandering now. So first she says, I'm a great woman because I'm a woman, and let me list a bunch of great women so they assume that I'm them. Then I'll say that I'm humble, even though I'm not. And then go, oh, New Yorkers are powerful and strong and unafraid. Most of the New Yorkers have packed up and left.
We're also innovators and creators.
Where?
We can be optimists and realists.
All you do is bring in new businesses to New York State. You don't support any of us who are here, and you crush everything new. You destroyed cannabis. You destroyed blockchain. You've destroyed everything you possibly can. You crush small businesses. What are you talking about? You're literally making this up. All the innovators who used to be in Brooklyn are now going to Austin. They're all leaving. They're going to Miami. They're all leaving. You're just pandering. You're literally making this up. None of this is true.
Dreamers and doers. But above all, when we are united, there's no stopping us.
We're not united. Have you seen the state? We're not united.
And there is no fight for what is right that we will ever back down from.
Yes, we will get the enemy because the enemy is bad. Who's the enemy? Be quiet, Sam. The enemy. We're going to get them. Who's them? Shut up, Logic. Shh, shh. Them. We're going to get them, and we're going to keep fighting. Against who? Joel, be quiet. Shh. Just them. She hasn't given an enemy. She hasn't given anything. I'm going to keep fighting. For what? Meanwhile, people keep leaving. Meanwhile, the state's a disaster. Who are you fighting for? Oh, clap. Yeah, you got me a job. Thanks for my job, Governor.
Now,
have
those of
healthcare
you who
now.
will gather
Thanks.
with us in a little over a week, I'll be presenting an ambitious state of the state. So I won't go into policy today.
Yeah, don't kill
Save
us.
up for that one. It'll be longer.
Oh, I got you when that comes.
But right now, there's some fights we just have to take on. The affordability crisis in housing and energy and everything.
Yeah.
It's making life just too damn hard for New Yorkers.
And who made that happen? Hold on. This reminds me of Cuomo. Cuomo was the master at this, though. I mean, she's not bad, but Cuomo was the master. Cuomo would list why he was terrible and then blame somebody else and go, I'm going to fix it. He was wonderful at that. She's like, yeah, this place sucks. You run this place. You run the joint. If the joint's a shithole, you run the shithole, right? You run the joint. You've been part of government of New York at the local level, state level, and national level because she was a congressperson for literally 20 years, if not more, 30 years now. Whatever bad New York is, you did it. You are literally responsible for it at every level. If only there was someone in charge of this place. Oh, wait, that's you.
And the gun violence epidemic. My gosh. The loss.
My gosh. So she said we have to worry about affordability. All right. Energy, your fault. Literally your fault. Right? Lockdowns, your fault. Literally your fault. The gun violence, oh my God, comes from the lockdowns. When was the all of a sudden the increase in gun violence? 2020, when you locked us down, took New York young men, told them don't go to school, don't go to work, go in a corner, sit in the corner and wait because I can't give you anything to do. Here's a little bit of money just so you're barely satisfied. And then I'm going to make sure no one can travel at all and do anything. So now everything's more expensive and the black market's huge. The gang leader said, oh my God, thank you. You've given me the perfect environment and you've given me an army. Now let me go and do gang violence. All this gun violence is gang violence. That's the increase. Gang violence. The other violence, which is increased, is non-gang, which is not gun violence, is people who have addiction and or mental illness problems, which were exacerbated, were multiplied because of the lockdowns. That's the reason. Literally your fault. You're like, oh, where does scars come from? Look in the mirror. That is the reason.
Of lives goes on and on. The rise in hate crimes. What happened here?
You were in
Especially
charge.
Anti-Semitism, Asian hate, anti-LGBTQ hate, and the systemic racism that still persists to this day. Those are the fights we are called to take on. We must.
Haven't you been fighting this for 30 years and losing? Or haven't you been part of the reason why it's so bad? Isn't this all you? This drives me crazy. This drives me crazy. Everything is bad. Oh my God. So I'm glad I'm in charge now. You've been in charge. Would you blame the workers if a company sucked? Right?
And
you wouldn't.
We're still dealing with the lingering effects of the pandemic that disrupted every aspect of our lives.
No, that is incorrect. That is a blatant lie. We are not dealing with the ramifications and the residuals of the pandemic. We are dealing with the ramifications and the residuals of your insane lockdown. That's what we're dealing with, not the pandemic. Pandemics, without question, do hurt people. Absolutely. And they kill people. Viruses do that. Viruses hurt and or kill people. They do that. Absolutely true. 100%. What they don't do is shut down businesses, shut down schools, crush families, make people lose their loved ones when they can't even see them in nursing homes. They don't send people to nursing homes either. They also, by the way, they don't decide whether you can or cannot work. They don't tell people who have mental illnesses they can't go to therapy. They don't tell people who have addiction problems they can't get their drug. They don't do any of that. Only government can do that. And you were at the top of the government when that happened. The ramifications are directly your fault. Not even close. No one else's. Well, maybe Cuomo. Okay, Cuomo, great. You were lieutenant governor when he started this stuff. Where were you? Did you say anything? Did you stop? Did you have anything? Did you do any single thing possible to say he was wrong? No. And then when you took over, what'd you do? You doubled down. You didn't even say it was bad. You tripled down. This is your fault. And people are clapping for her. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. She's terrible. And look, you might go, well, Larry, I didn't vote for her. If you voted for me, and I hope you did if you're in New York State, good for you. You did the right thing. If you voted for her, this is what you got. I hope you're happy with the mess you put yourself in. If you voted for the Republican, shame on you. You got suckered again. This is because of her. You believe the lie the Republicans did, you got her. And I warned you. If you are a Republican in this state, in New York State, and you voted for Lee Zeldin, this is your fault. Not mine, yours. I told you what you should have done. Well, Larry, you wouldn't have won. Well, Zeldin didn't win, and where is he? Where's your GOP? Where's Nick Langworthy? You know what Nick Langworthy is right now? He's hanging out down in D.C., laughing it up with the GOP, trying to figure out how they can get a House Speaker. That's what he's doing while we suffer. What am I doing? I'm still here. If you suckers who got suckered into voting for Lee Zeldin, like the chumps that you were, yes, I'm insulting you because you should be ashamed of yourselves for doing it. If you vote for me instead, even if I lost, imagine if I had got 40% instead of Zeldin. I'd be on every news station in the country saying this. Every news station in the country I'd be in. They'd be like, oh my God, how'd Larry Sharpe do it? We'd actually have someone able to fight back against this. But you didn't do that, you Republicans. The year you got fooled. You Democrats, you voted for her, this is what you get. And when your families pack up and leave, and when your businesses collapse, and when your kid can't find a job, you said, I moved to Tennessee. Whose fault is that? Not hers, yours. Look in the mirror. You did it. You got fooled. You got suckered for 20 years. You get suckered, and you still keep doing it. And where's Zeldin trying to become the New York GOP chair? So he's trying to do grifting some more. Where's Nick Langworthy down in D.C. laughing it up with all his boys as he suckered you out of money? That's what they are. Yes, I'm annoyed. I don't care if you're unhappy about that. The Republicans fooled you again. And the Democrats, I don't know why you listen to these people. This is what you keep getting. You keep getting the same thing. And now you're mad.
The loss of learning for our children, the loss of jobs for our workers, the tear in the social fabric that led to mental health challenges and increases.
You did all of that. Literally, you did it all.
Crime. We're still reeling from all this.
You're not reeling. You're doing fine. You and your husband are both wealthy. All the people at the top are all wealthy. None of you are reeling. We are reeling. You are not.
And while we're doing it, we still have to fight back against the Supreme Court's hostile assault on basic rights, such as a woman to make decisions about her own body.
Did you see what she just did? Now, this is a very good way of spinning. I'm going to give it. This is a good way of spinning. She literally says, all these problems that I created and that I have no answer for, but, women try to choose. So she goes right back to ID politics. She is all about ID politics. But here's the worst part. I'm the straw man. In New York State, and I will ask you, if you live in New York State today, is there any, in any way, shape, or form, any attack on a woman's right to choose? None. It's codified in New York State law. It doesn't matter what the Supreme Court does. Supreme Court could outlaw abortion tomorrow. It won't, but it could, and we'd still have abortion in New York State. Still, it wouldn't matter. It's codified, and the state wants it, and the state has it. It's going nowhere. This is her going, I'm going to fight. For who? Because you want to be president one day? Okay, great. Go be president one day. But how about right now, care about the people here in New York State? Nobody should care about that in New York State.
We are in this fight. We're in this fight to the end.
Why are you to the end? What does that mean, in this fight? There's no fight to be had. You're swinging at air.
And just as we are reflecting on history today.
Back to history again.
When history looks back on our time, the question will be to all of us, the present.
Yeah.
The question is whether we rose up to meet these challenges today and challenges yet unknown.
Okay, the challenges that you made happen, those, I don't know. Again, this is the challenges. What challenges? Pete, stop. There's no the challenges. You know what they are. I don't have to say them. I'm just going to do some platitudes.
Whether we took the torch that was passed to us from those trailblazers.
Torch I need.
And made it burn even brighter before we passed it off to the next generation. They'll ask whether we advance the causes of social justice and the progressive values that have set us apart from all the rest.
Because in New York State, we're having so many problems with that right now, aren't we? Are we? Is that the biggest issue in New York State right now? Is that the problem? Is there that much, I don't know, discrimination against gay people in New York State? I mean, maybe there is. I don't see it. I live in New York City. So you know what? That one maybe I'm blinded by. It's possible that I'm blinded by that, right? I admit that where I live in New York City, nobody cares if you're gay or non-binary or straight or nobody cares in New York City. I mean, if you think nobody cares, it's irrelevant. Nobody cares here. I don't know. Maybe that's someplace else. I don't know. Is that a thing outside of New York City in New York State? I travel state all the time. I don't hear people going, I hate the gays. I don't hear that at all. There are some people who are still against gay marriage. I do hear some people, but that's rare. Once in a while, you get some guy who hates gay marriage. But even if he does, he doesn't hate gay people. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. Even if you find that one guy someplace in New York State, they exist. But it's not a big deal at all. This is a battle that no one's fighting. Again, in New York State. I know that in some states, it's a big issue. I'm talking about New York State.
Standing before you, I know the answer is yes. Because obstacles don't define us. Rather, it is the unparalleled courage and character of us that defines us as a people.
Okay, if we're so wonderful, and I hope we are, you told us we're so wonderful, then why do we have to fight against social injustice and such? If anything, the biggest injustice, if anything, is in our corrections facilities and in our penal system. If anything, you could stop that. You could simply make sure that possession is not a crime anymore. You could legalize cannabis in the right way. You could stop the war on drugs. You could stop that too, couldn't you? If there is social injustice, it's there. You could stop that, couldn't you?
So my confidence in the future is steeped in our glorious past.
Oh, okay.
In the face of adversity, we always persist. We persevere. We prevail.
Okay, New York State is losing population faster than any other state in the nation. We're not persisting. We're not prevailing. We have more debt than we've ever had, and we're getting more debt. The wealth gap in New York State is getting bigger. Nothing she's saying is true, and there's no evidence that it's getting better. Yet we keep passing more and more and more laws, yet it's not getting better. This is absolutely not true.
Think back when our young state needed to open up new markets. What'd they do?
New markets.
They achieved the most ambitious engineering feat in the history of our country by building the Erie Canal.
She's not wrong.
Creating upstate and transforming New York City from a little village to an economic powerhouse.
So New York City was a little village? Just made that up too. She's just made all of that up. Like, yes, but yeah, that's true. They wanted new markets, not new government programs. True. Not new government handouts. True. Not new government infrastructure. True. They wanted the Erie Canal so that people could do markets and buy and sell stuff. Yes, that's true. So where's your Erie Canal? I'm the one who had a plan to fix the Erie Canal. Remember that? That was me. So you stole my Erie Canal plan now?
And think about other challenges. When women around this country, as I said, faced oppression, the national women's suffrage movement was born right here, nowhere else but our state. And when events happened like at Stonewall.
Yeah.
And the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire.
Yeah.
And the fight for civil rights came here.
Yeah.
We took on those fights.
Yeah.
We fought for those rights, LGBTQ rights, workers' rights, civil rights.
100%.
All of those causes found their national champions in one state.
And that's my point. We've won here. So why are you fighting a battle that no longer requires you fighting? Because you don't have a battle to fight, because you're not a fighter, because you're full of shit. That would be the reason. Literally, you're right. You're just saying, and we solved it. We fought it. You're right. We did. So why are you still fighting this battle? Fight something else.
Our state. No other state has that legacy.
You're not wrong. Yes, that's true.
You know, it's 20 years ago. The unspeakable
See, this is great. Joel says it, and Joel, you're totally right. People trying to pay for groceries think social justice is our biggest problem. Yeah, look, I don't want to say that everything here is perfect in New York when it comes to social justice. It isn't perfect. But is that our number one issue? Not at all. We've been passing more and more social justice stuff in New York, and people keep packing up and leaving. Literally hundreds of thousands a year. I'm not making that number up, guys. Hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers are leaving every year. And it's not because, you know what, we don't have enough of social justice. No one's leaving because of that. Not one New Yorker went, if only we had more social justice, I'd stay here. No one is saying that. They're all saying, I can't afford to live here, or there's no opportunities, or I feel unsafe. That's why they're leaving. No other reason. This social justice stuff is important. Don't get me wrong, but it's a priority for my inaugural address as governor. God, I got nothing better. God, that's embarrassing. That's the number one thing. Yeah, how about paying for groceries? Way more. How about heating my home when a tough winter comes? How about not letting the Buffalo people, how many die in Buffalo? I think that's kind of more important, but let's worry about what she wants.
Terrorist attack. Stuff. 9/11. They thought to divide us, take us down.
They thought, again, it's the they. It's the same people, Megan, the they. It's the same people, the they. The same they who's somehow mad taking away women's right to vote, I guess, and women's right to choose and stuff. Whatever, it's the they. They sought to divide us. They did.
You know what? New York rose up, became even stronger instead.
Absolutely false. She just made this up. I was here during 9/11. I was here 2008. I'm here now. I've been here that whole time. I've been here in New York the whole time. We are weaker than we've ever been. Let me repeat this. Hundreds of thousands of people leave our state every year and have been doing so for 10 years straight at least. At least. We were the least growing state since around 2009. And then we've now the one who's losing the most population, period. We're actually losing population now. That wasn't the thing. We were just going down with growth. Now we're actually losing. Nothing but bad. Almost 40 people died in this storm in Buffalo this year. But in 1977, we had a worse storm. By the way, I was in New York during that storm too. I wasn't in Buffalo, but I was here in New York in 1977, had the worst storm than that and lost less people. Let me say it again. Worst storm, lost less people in 1977. Was that 45 years ago? Yeah.
And just this year, we prayed for their souls. We experienced twin tragedies in my hometown of Buffalo.
Yes.
I see Senator Kennedy here. He knows what I'm talking about. Crystal People-Stokes would have joined us.
You know, I want you to be clear. Literally, she's been doing this for about 20 minutes. I didn't let you see the whole 20 minutes because it was just more pandering. And she hasn't said one thing she's going to do. She hasn't said one thing that she's done. She's just saying, "This everything's so bad. It's so bad. It's just so bad. It's just so bad." You've been in charge.
She's dealing with the aftermath as well. First of all, we had a hate-filled domestic terrorist attack.
Yep.
On my neighbors in Buffalo.
She's not wrong.
Simply out grocery shopping on a beautiful day.
It's true. But who was governor then? Oh, that was you. Yeah, it was you. And who told us that in 2013, the SAFE Act was going to keep us safe and stop mass shootings? That was, oh, right, you. Yeah, that was you. And who said that the gun laws that we passed before during the Cuomo years, that was going to save us? And not, oh, that was also you. You told us that all the gun laws, by the way, when Buffalo hit, the Buffalo shooting hit, New York State still had the strictest gun laws in the entire nation. That's a fact. You can say that's not true, 100% true, absolute fact. And she was governor. So what?
Afterward, we came together,
the
legislature, our leadership, and we passed the toughest.
And you then realized that there was a problem with young men across our state that was absolutely, multiplied and magnified by the terrible lockdowns. And you decided to work on youth, helping out young men to not lose their purpose and go down some horrible hole of racism and or bigotry so they would come out the other end violent when they kill themselves. You realized that was the problem, exacerbated by the lockdowns that you made, and you then resolved to change that, to never do it again, and to fix it, right?
Gun laws in our country to say
gun laws. Got it, gun law. No, I was wrong. I thought she was going to say she figured it all out, but no, she went back to gun laws, which we already had.
no more.
Because didn't you say no more before? You said no more like 7 times already.
Just over the Christmas weekend.
Tell me, what happened?
With the blizzard of the century.
Yes, it's true.
And we pray for their families, the souls we lost.
Because that'll help.
But oh my gosh, we had heroic people.
You did? Okay.
It was dangerous. It was so dangerous to be out there.
There were a lot of people locally who did a lot of good stuff. She's right on that one. I'll give her that. 100%. There were a lot of local people who packed. I've talked about it. A lot of local people did a lot of good stuff. Amazing.
I want to recognize the heroic first responders, law enforcement, and the ordinary citizens who helped the strangers in their time of need.
You did that. That was good. Usually she only takes care of the state
and we
workers,
are so honored.
Thank you. Okay.
To have some of the men and women who fought that blizzard here with us today. And one of them, they all have incredible stories, but one of them I want to highlight.
Okay, tell me.
Fire protection specialist John Makem. He saved 3 stranded ambulances carrying sick people to the hospital that got stranded and could not move.
That is great.
He and a few good Samaritans also helped a doctor on his way to save lives. And his mother were trapped in a car. They didn't know if they were going to hold on.
Where are those Samaritans?
He rescued them. He worked with another fireman and a citizen because that Buffalo is truly the city of good neighbors.
Where's the citizen?
To John and everyone else who worked during that blizzard, please stand up and let's give these heroes a round of applause.
They deserve it. Agree. I'd like the citizen there too, not just the workers, but yes, no worries. I think it's great. Well done. No shade on that. I agree. No shade on that. No shade.
State police, National Guard, state fire, all of our agencies pulled together, and I'm so proud of what we did.
Why would you say something like that? Why would you say so proud of what they did when you were at the top of that, right? The blizzard in Buffalo is not a win. It's a loss. A lot of people died, and individual people had to literally break the law. I'm not making that up again. They broke the law to help. It was against law for them to travel, so they could have been ticketed or arrested. Luckily, the workers there were realized that's a stupid idea and people want to help, let them help. So they didn't arrest them or ticket them, and they allowed them to go help. They had to break the law to go help because your systems were so broken. And all you can say is, well done. Here's the problem. It was a failure. The state's a failure. By any way you would measure, the state's a failure. Now, if an organization is a failure, do you blame the workers? I wouldn't. It's the workers. If so, the people who you blame are the leaders, right? In any organization, whether it's a nonprofit, government, business, anything. If you're leading and you're the one either hiring the people or bringing them aboard or telling them what to do or assigning tasks or whatever you're doing in that organization, if the organization fails, it's at the workers' fault. Is it possible you have some bad workers? Absolutely. There are some bad workers. They exist. But most bad workers aren't actually bad workers. Most bad workers either are in the wrong job or are led poorly. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some bad people who are bad. They exist, but they're very few and very small. Most people are either in the wrong job or being led poorly. So if you're in charge, you're bringing these people aboard and or assigning tasks to them, right? That's your fault, not the worker's fault. If you happen to get a bad worker, you get rid of them. It does happen. Otherwise, you're either hiring the wrong people or leading them incorrectly. So the failure is on the leadership. But do you think she would blame any leader? No, not at all. Every time something good happens, it's because she's awesome and the government's awesome. Every time something bad happens, it's just they. The bad thing happened, it's because them. That's all it is. They or them or poor us. Never is it, you know what, I screwed up. You know what, I should have done something better. You know what, I can fix this. Never. Never comes out of her mouth ever. Never came out of Cuomo's mouth. Never comes out of her mouth. At no point did they ever go, you know what? I should have done better there. I learned a lesson there. I could do better. I should have done better. You know what? That guy who did that gal, we should have had a better person there. No, never, ever.
New York State workers alone were responsible for 600 saves. Saved the lives of 600 people.
That's all they talk about.
But as we can see, every single time New York faces a travesty, we turn it into a source of strength and growth and advancement.
Literally never. I don't know what she's talking about. If you're a New Yorker, please help me if I'm wrong here. When's the last time we took a tragedy or something bad and made us stronger and better? We turned New York City into a terrible place at 9/11. I was here for that. And if you live in New York City, it was terrible after that. It wasn't better after 9/11. The 2008, 2009 crash, disaster. COVID, disaster. Where people are leaving. This city is in a state of shambles. Upstate New York, there's potholes everywhere. Our infrastructure is broken. Half our towns are half abandoned. What is she talking about? This is just something she says based upon zero facts. It's just literally not true. I don't know why why do we keep clapping to this? Why do we keep clapping to this? It's utterly, we just make things stronger because you say so?
And these are the times that confirm my undying belief in the people of New York, moving in one direction, ever upward.
All she's saying is, you guys are great. Don't you love me? You guys are great. What's she going to do? What has she accomplished? Nothing.
Because New York stands for something extraordinary.
Tell me what it does.
Opportunity and ambition.
How?
Compassion and tolerance.
How? You told people, your boy before you said the same thing. You said if you're Republican, go to Florida. That's compassion and tolerance? You said, I didn't say that, you did. And Cuomo said, if you're a conservative, there's no room for you. No, I'm sorry, no place for you. If I remember his quote right. No place for you in New York. That's tolerance? That's tolerance for you. If that's tolerance, I don't want to see your intolerance. I guess I'm going up against this brick wall. If that's your intolerance, I don't know what's going on. Compassion for what? You hammer everybody for everything. We have people locked up all across this state for nothing. And you're compassionate? Have you seen our criminal justice system? I would not call it compassionate.
And the most fascinating people and places. Ultimately a place where millions can come to build their lives, their families.
Literally nobody does. Literally nobody does. What are you saying? Millions come to build their lives and families. Blatant lie. The opposite is true. New York used to be a place you would come here and it affects me viscerally. It does. It bothers me. And I know it shouldn't. I should just let it go. But I got an emotional issue here. And I know I'm maybe getting emotional. I know, but I'm human. New York used to be a place you'd come here to be somebody. You come here to be somebody. Remember that? If I can make it here, I can make it anywhere. This was the place where you came to be somebody. You were nobody where you were, and you came to New York to be somebody. That's what the state used to be. And it wasn't just New York City. Think of all the places in upstate New York that used to be amazing where you'd go to build things, see things, grow. That's what it used to be. Now, you leave here to be somebody. That's how New York State is now. You leave here to be somebody. How dare you say that shit to me? How dare you, with a smile on your face, say what you just said? A blatant lie. As you watch hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers leave this state because they can't make it here. You don't come here anymore to be somebody, to make millions of people come here. Stop that lie. We're leaving in the millions. This state's a disaster.
Live a good life.
They don't.
And that's why I'm energized. I'm enthusiastic to be in this arena, no matter what comes our way. Because this is the New York I believe in. And the New York that I will fight for every day.
What fight? You keep saying fight. Destroy men you make up and knock down, I guess.
Here's where we're taking the fight next.
Tell me now.
First, we must and will make our state safer. This means New Yorkers can walk our streets
Like
ride
that.
our subways. Our kids can go to school free
Okay. It took you a half hour to get there, but you got there. Fine, I'll take it.
from
Okay.
fear. And we'll work together with our partners, our mayors, and get it done.
Okay.
Secondly, we have to make our state more affordable. Yes,
What?
people want to be here, but the thought of not being able to have your grandkids grow up in the same community that they were raised in because they can't afford it,
Safety, affordability.
that's very sad.
That is sad. You did that.
And New Yorkers are just struggling to pay rent, food, and gas to get to their jobs. They're hurting. Our people are hurting.
Yep.
We're going to fight for them.
Okay.
And we must reverse the trend of people leaving our state in search of lower costs and opportunities elsewhere.
Okay, so did I just hear her say the three most important pieces are safety, affordability, and opportunity? Did I hear her just say that? It's weird that she would say something like that. It is weird because I kind of remember somebody else who was running for governor. Who was that guy who was running for governor? Oh, right. It was me on my website, LarrySharpe.com. Safety, opportunity, affordability. Literally, the three things she said are my program. So now she's so broken, she says, I got nothing. Larry Sharpe got something. Let's take his stuff. Look at that. For every one of you Democrats who voted for Kathy Hochul, shame on you. She's so screwed up, she has to steal my plans. I mean, not my plans. She's not going to do any of this because she has no plans. But she has to steal my rhetoric. How about that? She has to steal my rhetoric. That's her. She literally stole my rhetoric. You heard her say it. Safety, opportunity, affordability. So some of her people went on my website and said, we got nothing. Let's talk about like women and stuff. And Larry Sharpe's got some stuff. Let's check out. Oh, he got three things. Let's do that. That's what he said. So they literally just took my stuff and now she does it. Yes. And for you Republicans who voted for Lee Zeldin, take that. Where was his? She didn't go to Lee Zeldin's stuff because he had nothing, because Republicans in this state have nothing. So the Democrats are the party of bad ideas. Republicans are the party of no ideas. That's what we got in New York State. I got the ideas. She took my rhetoric now. Her rhetoric so bad, she took my rhetoric. I'll make sure you said, you heard her say it. Safety, there it is. Opportunity, there it is. Affordability, there it is. What she just said, she just took my plans. That's our governor. Now, she won't do any of my plans. How do I know? None of her people have called me. All they have to do is call me. I would literally help them implement any plan if they wanted to. You know I would. I would happily assist them in implementing any plan that would make New York better. They're not going to do that. Nothing. She's just going to say the rhetoric because she knows my rhetoric is correct. Terrible. Embarrassing.
Do this. And lastly, we must create opportunities for the people today.
Okay.
Also,
so that sounds good, right? So she's going to do safety, affordability, and opportunity because you're going to stop people from leaving. At least she admits that what she just said is all a lie because people just keep leaving. She's finally said, I got to do something. Why? Because the budget can't afford it. That federal money is going away. Uncle Joe can't keep writing checks. And now you got a Republican Congress. They're not going to authorize all those checks anymore. That's dried up. What are you going to do now without Uncle Joe's checks?
Invest in it tomorrow so our young people, like our poet Caden, can have a better life.
Invest in the tomorrow. I like that. That's good.
And we're going to keep opening the doors.
Okay. How?
To communities and people who've historically not had opportunities.
Oh.
We'll create economic empowerment so communities of color are no longer left behind and marginalized.
That's what you got to do, right? Even though if you look upstate New York, everyone suffers, regardless of skin color. Black people suffer, Hispanic people suffer, white people, everyone suffers. Everyone suffers. You know what we're going to do? Mess with people of color. That's it. I have an idea. How about stop dividing us by color and divide us by social economic status? If you want to help people who are already in trouble. I don't care what color of their skin is. If they happen to be black, awesome. If they happen to be white, awesome. I don't care. If they're hurting, help them. That makes sense. But don't help them by writing them a check. Help them by allowing them to grow. That is what I want to do. I have a plan for that. So on my website, your people have seen it. Why don't you use it? Why don't you steal all my plans? Please, I would love it. Ask me to help you implement them. I will.
We'll make sure that our kids can thrive and have a first-rate education so their
How?
future has unlimited possibilities.
Education in New York State is a steaming pile of garbage. And it's not because of our teachers. Let me be very clear. It's not because of teachers. It's because of our bloated administration. Our administration in New York State is a disaster. It is horrible. It's an embarrassment. The teachers union is not about teachers. It's about administrators. That's what it's about. The teachers union is an embarrassment. It should go away. It's horrible. There should be a separate union for teachers and a separate union for administrators. Do that and you will change New York for the better. But they don't. It's one big giant monster that's a piece of garbage that helped with the lockdowns, that helped with crushing our kids. And she's behind them 100%. All she's going to do is put more money into an already broken system. She has no plan to fix anything. So where's my safety? That's not safety. Where's my affordability? That's not affordability. Where's my opportunity? It doesn't matter. You can get the best degree you can if you want to. Where are you going to go once you have the degree? Not New York. You're moving to Texas or Florida. That's where you're going. This is all garbage.
And while so many states are sliding backwards when it comes to basic fundamental rights, New Yorkers will never have to worry about whether their rights are protected here in the state. Because the right to choose, the right of marriage, the right to vote.
Now, see what she did. She actually said, there's a problem. It's these three things. I got to fix them. I have no idea how. I'm not gonna at all. But, right to choose and voting and like gay things, that stuff, that's important. In New York State, there's no battle here. She's fighting for stuff that we've already taken care of. And again, I know other states, some states is a battle you have to fight. I get it. If I lived in those states, I'd probably be with you in fighting those battles. We don't have those battles here.
The right to a life free from hatred and discrimination is basic.
Okay, that's not a right. There's not a right to be free from hate and discrimination. That's not a right. That's not a right. Right? There is a right, as Samuel brings up, which he does not care about at all, which is freedom of speech, right to bear arms. She doesn't count those, Sam. Doesn't count those. Fight for those. Those are actually under attack. You're right, Sam. That's a fight she should be fighting. Those rights are actually under attack. Why isn't she fighting for those? She's fighting for rights. The battle's won. In New York State. If you live in other states, I know that may be a problem. I got it. I'm realistic on that. In New York State, what she's talking about, the war's over. She's still fighting it. She's still fighting the war. It's already over.
To who we are. They're all worth fighting for. And as we protect our future generations and their rights,
what about that affordability part and the opportunity part and the safety part so that we could grow and people want to stay here? What about that part?
To lead the nation.
And what?
And our ambitious plan to combat climate change.
Because that's critical.
And protect our environment.
All right, let's be clear. Do I believe that there's a climate problem? I do. I think it's a problem. I absolutely agree. But does any of it matter if people aren't staying in my state? Do I care? I'm going to have the most awesomest, I guess, environmentally friendly state while the rest of the world burns and no one's in my state. I have an idea. Make people stay because they want to stay. Give them an opportunity to stay because they want to stay. Then we'll raise more money and then incentivize people to have an answer to make things better and nicer and safer, and we can fix it. But no, what she wants to do is just make more laws. She's going to make it harder for you to have a car and then wonder why you leave. She'll make it more expensive for you to heat your home and then wonder why you leave. She's going to make sure you have no say in whether windmills go up in your neighborhood or whether solar farms go in your neighborhood. You will have no say, because right now you have no say at all. And you still will have no say. You'll have no say in it whatsoever. You'll feel like you're being disrespected. You'll lose your land and you'll leave. She will make everything worse, fighting some battle that doesn't need to be fought. This is what she's doing. Where were the plans? She said safety. She said that. Opportunity. She said that. And she said, safety, affordability, opportunity. She said, you could have just gone to my website and picked any of those plans and used any of them. Not one. Because
no place on earth has more God-given natural treasures than New York.
Except maybe California and Alaska. Russia. China. But except those.
Just look at these images of New York around us. From the grandeur of the high peaks of the North Country to the Great Lakes.
True. No. I mean, New York is absolutely beautiful. But to go and say it has the number one resources in the world, that's stretching. I love New York. Clearly I do. And I've crossed this state many times. It is a beautiful, awesome state. That's absolutely true. But I don't say that to pander. I say that because it's true. I'm not going to lie and go, there's no place on the planet with more resources. I think you're lying. Now you're blatantly pandering.
Storied Hudson River and the majesty of the mighty Niagara.
I love this. Paula says, less CO2 emissions, I guess, when in New York, when other people go to Florida and Texas. Valid point, Paula. So she does win. She wins. If we all leave, there's no more CO2 emissions. I guess that's win-win. I guess. So I guess it's a win.
Pristine beaches of Long Island. It's beautiful.
She's not wrong.
So I'll fight for all that. But as I said, most importantly, I'm here to fight for the people.
About? People? What do you mean?
Everyone. No matter where they came from, how they got here.
No, you won't. You will only fight for women and people of color. That's all you've talked about. That's it. No one else matters.
To those whose ancestors came here in bondage on slave ships, and others who saw opportunity and saw New York as a shining beacon, drawing millions from every corner of the planet, just like my impoverished grandparents left Ireland as teenagers, came through Ellis Island.
Used to be true.
And because of that, we are home to the most diverse population. People of every color, creed, national origin, and orientation call New York home.
It's true. By the way, the county that I live in, Queens, is literally the most diverse county in the entire nation. She's correct. Absolutely true. Except millions aren't coming here for that anymore. They're not. They're coming here because New York City will allow them to come here because we accept anyone to come here, which is great. But they come here, then they leave. That's the problem. They come here and suck up whatever they can suck up. And you think I'm making it up? Our new Democratic mayor, Adams, has gone, I can't take all these people. I got to stop. Even he's saying it. And they're still leaving. So we're the most diverse, awesome, and people are leaving. So if hundreds of thousands of people are packing up and leaving, the fact that we're diverse isn't good enough, is it? I would like us to be diverse. I have nothing against diversity. I like diversity. I think it's amazing. Let's be diverse and a good place to live. Can't you do both? I guess in her world, no.
And for the next 4 years, our sole mission will be to lift up every New Yorker and make a difference in their lives.
I would like you to not lift up all New Yorkers and make a difference in their life. I would like you to not do that. It's a terrible mission. It's a bad mission. Please don't do that because all you will do is make things worse. I would like you instead to say, my mission would be to create an environment which is safer, more affordable, with more opportunity. You did say those three things before. She won't go on them. And you might laugh and say, Larry, why isn't she going on them? Here's the reason why. That's not really her stuff. I'm not joking. I really believe that her writers went to my website. I really believe it to be true. You would have to show me that I'm wrong because they did it verbatim. They went to my website, said, oh, that Larry Sharp's. I said, good stuff. Let's get you some his stuff. And they put it in her speech. She didn't know what this was. She had no idea. She's reading a speech. So she read what her speechwriter said. If she actually thought about this, she would have some plans for those three things. She doesn't have anything. She's an identity politics queen. That's all she does is ID politics. So everything falls back to that. That's all it is.
So their tomorrows will be better than their yesterdays.
Oh, okay.
My friends, let me close with a few final thoughts.
Uh-oh. This can't be good.
I may be the one standing before you.
Yeah.
But this state doesn't belong to me.
It doesn't.
It belongs to the New York men and women who take care of the rest of us.
Oh.
The nurses and doctors who saved our people during a pandemic.
The state workers.
The home health care aides who allow us to age and our parents to age in dignity.
The state workers.
The teachers who are fighting so hard to get our kids back on track.
The state workers.
And they're always asked to do so much more than just be an educator.
State workers.
We honor them.
Because remember something, in her eyes, and I have nothing against state workers. You know that my father was one of them. I have nothing against state workers. Wonderful. They're just not better than anybody else. They're the same. They're workers who have a job, who pay their bills. Great. You're the same. You're not better. You're not worse. You're a worker who has a job and pays your bills, just like me, anybody else. But she thinks they're somehow better. I'm not trying to be a jerk. We're just people, all of us. Whether you work for the government, a private company, state government, federal government, you work for yourself, you're a gig worker, you're a worker. You're all the same. Not in her eyes. Why? Because those are all the people who vote for her. She ensures they keep getting raises. She ensures they keep doing everything, and they vote for her in droves.
This day belongs to the waitresses. I'm a former waitress.
Oh, nice. You gave
They make
somebody
really
with
good chicken
something.
wings.
Yes, as you were trying your best to destroy that also by crushing them, by not allowing them to get tips. Like, you mean like that?
The waitresses, the hotel workers, the union workers, and so many others. Sometimes they have to work a couple of jobs just so they can give their kids a hot meal.
Yes, but whose fault is that? Yours. Every time it's bad, it's they or something else. It's good, it's all yours. It's your fault.
Pay their bills during this cold winter. And this day,
You could stop shutting down power plants and allow us to have energy. You could do that. That would change those bills. You could do that. You could stop people. You could stop taxing people so much they have some more money left. You could end the state income tax so that people could actually work better. You could do those things, or you could talk about social justice and let people suffer.
Also belongs to our law enforcement and emergency responders who wake up every single day, set their alarm, go out into the world, and they face the storms, the fires, the hurricanes, the flooding, the blizzards, and all the other risks to themselves, just so we can be safe in our beds at night.
That's the issue.
This day also belongs to the resilient farmers. My gosh, that's tough.
You've
tough
crushed
business.
them.
All over.
Look at her. That's a tough business. It's your fault. You're the one crushing them. It's like you punch the person in the face. Oh, it's gotta hurt that I'm punching you so much. Oh, I feel bad for you. I feel so bad for you. Wow, my fist must really hurt you. Oh, it's tough getting punched in the face by me. This is literally what she's doing. I have shown you how you can fix farming, how you can make it easier, better for them. You're the one who's created a cannabis rule that screws farmers over. You're the one who's screwing over farmers who are dairy farmers who you're bringing in big business versus helping them become local grows and local dairy products. You're stopping them, literally. You won't treat them like businesses so they can get loans as a business, not as a farm. You're the one who won't allow them to be treated like a business and get investors instead of losing their farm. That's you. Oh, tough business. Hard that I'm punching you in the face. I mean, I guess I could stop, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna keep punching you in the face.
For the state of New York, their food feeds the rest of us throughout this state. And to our small businesses, the owners, I helped my mom start a small business a long time ago.
She's literally sending out her goons to crush small businesses. Literally, she went out of her way to destroy them in the 2 years of the lockdown, pandemic lockdowns. She did that, devastated them, sent her goons out to just crush them more, and is doing it now. New York City and New York State is now sending out people to inspect small businesses to punish them if they didn't give their loans back. The loans that they pushed on them, the loans that were required because they shut them down. If they're not paying the loans back, they're going to punish them even more. If they're not following protocol, they're going to punish them even more. She is literally a small business killer. Oh, these hard small, same thing. I'm punching you in the face. Oh God, this must be terrible that I'm punching you in the face. I feel sorry for you that I keep punching you in the face. You could just stop punching them in the face. I mean, you could just do that.
I know the struggles. You put everything, you put your hopes in.
Stop. You are a multimillionaire and so is your husband. You are both wealthy. You do not know the struggles. Please stop lying.
Dreams in your business, and sometimes things like a pandemic just knock you back.
The pandemic didn't knock them back. You did.
They're so resilient. We're here to help them.
No, they're not. Over 30% will never come back. Over 30% will never come back. You crushed them that hard.
Because they add the charm and the character and the personality to our downtowns.
Have you watched our downtowns? Just go to a downtown in New York State, upstate New York, outside of major cities. Go to a downtown and show me how they're creating all that charm. You have broken them. You broke them during the pandemic to the point where they couldn't come back. Downtown of most places in upstate New York are broken. They are controlled by one big thing, like the prison or the Walmart or the university, and then everything else is a franchise in some way, shape, or form. Again, not against franchises, but franchises are too big of a percentage of our economy. It's not natural how big they are, but it's the only ones who can survive. because they bribe you. And I mean that literally. The big franchises have big dollars and they bribe the congressmen and the assemblymen and the governors and stuff with big checks. So they get away with stuff. The little guys don't. Everything you're saying, you have crushed. Every single thing. You've been in charge. You're saying how bad. Oh, it's so tough. You did it. It's like me telling me, I raise a kid who's a terrible brat and I go, my kid's terrible. Dude, you're the parent.
And this day belongs to little girls and to young women
because they look up
who will grow up knowing that from this day forward, there are no barriers they can't overcome.
Yeah, but she's humbled. Remember she said that BS? I'm humbled by this. But now little girls look up to her, and now they know. Because before, they thought I could go nowhere. But now that Kathy Hochul got inaugurated, well, now the sky's the limit for me. There is literally not one girl in the entire country who thinks that. Let me repeat that. There's not one girl in the entire country who was like, I got no chance. What? Kathy Hochul won the election? Now I see the light. I can become an astronaut now. No girl, not one of them said that. Not one. Not one. All they're thinking is, I'm so happy you got me my job. My job's amazing. Thank you for that job.
I remember one of my first days as governor. Very first days. I went back to the Erie County Fair. I've always gone to the Erie County Fair. A young mother came up to me with her little 5-year-old daughter. And she said in this hushed voice, look, sweetie, it's a girl governor. And what she said, I'll never forget. That means little girls can grow up to be whatever they want. And so can you. And that is true.
That never happened.
That is true.
No, you made that up. You're lying. You made that up. That never happened. She literally just lied. Never happened. Some speechwriter wrote that story. That never happened. Cuomo used to do the same thing. Cuomo would always go, and then my friend said, okay, Cuomo had no friends. So anytime Cuomo said, my friend said, he was lying because he has no friends. No one likes him. He's a bad guy. He has no friends. He has sycophants, right? Maybe one of his sycophants, maybe one of his toadies and lackeys said something, which now he has none of those because now he's not in power anymore. So he was lying. Now she's lying. That never happened. That never happened.
Approach the next 4 years with the energy and the sense of purpose and optimism. Okay. I know I'm not alone.
No, because these guys all get checks from you. So they're all happy. So yeah.
I'm joined in that arena with others who will fight the good fights and the worthy pursuits that Roosevelt.
Where she touched those three things. And this is why I'm sure it's mine, right? And you might go, Larry, now you're not being humble. Maybe I'm not being humble here. Maybe you're right. But no one else said the three things that I said who was running for governor. Literally nobody else. I was the only one who said those three things. She then said them and then went right off to ID politics. Didn't touch them at all. Here's three things that Larry Sharpe said was right. And that guy's smart, so he probably was right. Said those three things and went right back to, but little girls can be governor now. Went right back to that. So I think I'm right here.
Spoke of. Let's use these coming years to truly make a difference for each other and to make this state stronger than it's ever been in our glorious history. New York, just as you have put your faith in me, and I thank all the voters of New York.
This is your fault.
I also have faith in you.
No, you don't. If you had faith in us, you wouldn't make the laws you make. If you had faith in us, you wouldn't lock us down. If you had faith in us, you wouldn't have the gun laws you have. If you had faith in us, you wouldn't force the school system down our throats. If you had faith in us, you wouldn't force all the things you force. So you obviously do not have faith in us.
And to my very core, I believe there is nothing we cannot accomplish together. And so we will. May God bless New York. May God bless the United States of America. And thank you, New York.
And then they all clap forever and act like she did something special. She did not, by the way. That was horrible. And as I knew it would be, and as you knew it would be. I haven't done a Wednesdays with Kathy in a while, so I thought I'd do one. And I want to grab a bunch of comments. You guys did a lot of comments. Thank you for your patience. I know many of you have patience. But yeah, I do want to grab comments and cover the issues you care about. Before I do that, though, do me a favor, guys. help out my sponsors. Go to theadvocates.org. Talking about identity politics and political correctness. That's what we've been talking about. That's all she's been talking about. Go to theadvocates.org and click down on the survey. There's surveys. There's one survey that says identity politics and political correctness. Take that survey. Now, someone got mad at me today. Says, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to give you my email address. You don't have to give your email address. If you like what the advocates do, which is try to get people to think about self-governance, that's what their organization is all about. If you like that and you want to get emails from that kind of organization, please put your email in. If you don't put your email in. But either way, take the test and share the results. You get results no matter what, email or not. If you want to get email from an organization that is all about self-governance, please put your email in. If you don't want that, don't put your email in. Does not matter. You get it either way. Please take it and share it. It makes my sponsors happy, which makes me happy. So please do that. If you haven't clicked that like button already, please do it. You know this was good, and I got more coming. You know I do. So do me a favor, click that like button. It is important. The last thing I'll ask you to do is if you're watching this on YouTube, please head over to Sharp Way YouTube. I am not shadow banned yet on Sharp Way YouTube. So please go there, subscribe. And when you do subscribe, click all notifications so you get it from Sharp Way YouTube. I'm trying to grow that channel because so far I'm not shadow banned on it. So I want to make sure that continues. Please do it to the best of your ability. It helps tremendously. Let me grab some comments if I could. So, all right. So many of them. I do appreciate all the comments you guys are doing it. So, all right. Josh says you should reach out to Citizens Audit New York. They've been trying to present evidence to the New York Rhino Party. There are elections in New York, and as do up the claims they are. Why would they think that the New York GOP would care at all about that, Josh? That's silly of them. So yes, I'm happy to. If you guys want to pop out, happy to connect with anybody. They want to have any conversations, I'm ready to go. 100%. So Ronnie says, Larry's awesome. Thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it completely. Sam says, like, comment, share. Sam is correct. You should listen to him. Yes. John says, Kathy Hochul really followed the Cuomo trend in making sure she's on TV as much as possible. John, yes, and I don't blame her for that. I mean, there were parts of the Cuomo game that I respected, if that made any sense. While I hated Cuomo, I think he's a bad human being. I'm glad he's not governor anymore. I still have to respect the game, if that makes any sense, right? I got to give credit where credit was due. Cuomo was the master of TV and being online. He was the best in New York State. No one was better than him. Kathy's decent at it, but not as good as him. He had more charisma, right? Almost like an evil dictator. He had more charisma than her, and he was much better that way. She's not bad, but she's not as good as him. Cuomo was much better at this game than she is, but she writes better checks. Cuomo was actually stingy, right? What people don't get, what Kathy Hochul's skill set is she writes checks to everybody, and they're all beholden to her because she's writing checks. I'm not joking. That's true. She does that, and that gains loyalty. She's better than Cuomo is that. Cuomo had a couple of local loyal people that he gave money to, and then they became the henchmen. She just gives it out directly. So they're different in that regard. She's actually better at that than he is. But when it comes to charisma and TV, he's better than her. So, Pete, there you are. The debt, 31 trillion, 351 billion, 186 million, $121,029.94. So at one point, Your Majesty Queen Kathy Hochul, first of her name, you're not going to be able to get any more checks from Uncle Joe. At one point, the emperor stops giving the queen any more cash. Just how it works. So yes. Megan says Frederick was a saint. Agreed. I actually have his picture on my wall. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So absolutely true. All right. Ryan says, hello, Mr. Sharp. I want to hear your perspective on the New York governor. I think I just gave it to you. So yes, I think I just gave it to you. Yes. Nate says, I think she's building up to her accomplishment of being first female governor of New York. Well, that she has done, Nate. I mean, if your goal was to be the first female governor of New York, you could check that box. Well done. Now, if you're going to be a good governor, that she has not done. But the female part, well done. Yes, absolutely. So Jim says she will go down as one of the worst governors in New York. That might be true, Jim, because I think she might have to oversee, she might have to oversee the dismantling of the state. That's possible. Depends how long she's governor. That might be true. So yes. All righty. Here, Pete says, New York saw the largest annual numeric and percentage decline of its population between July 2021 and July 2022, dropping by 180,000 people. Yes, and that's only official. There's more, but yes, absolutely true. Yes. Joseph says, I hope you don't listen to this woman speak all the time, Larry Sharp. It is very bad for your psyche. You're not wrong. However, someone has to, Joseph. Someone has to sacrifice and do this. So yes, absolutely. That's true. Ryan says, my name is Kathy Hochul. I'm just like Harriet Tubman, Susan B. Anthony, and Shirley Chisholm because all were female. Yes. So I guess I'm George Washington and Malcolm X and Abraham Lincoln and Gandhi because I'm a male. Look at that. I love it. I'm all of them. I love it. Patty says Hillary was a transplant. Yes, and I'm not against transplants, Patty. I'm not. I'm against you coming to New York and then within 1 month running for something. That I'm against. I am. And I may be a bit, I don't know, provincial. But yeah, right? People are like, Larry, why don't you move to New Hampshire and run for something? Because I'm a New Yorker. And if I move to New Hampshire, I should at least live in New Hampshire for at least 5 or maybe 10 years so I could know the state, understand the people before I would want to run for something. I run in New York State because I'm a New Yorker. Born and raised here. Still live here. So yeah, I get to run. Now, to be forward, I wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton, but I would actually respect a run from her now because she's been now in New York for many years. I'm good. I don't mind transplants, but live here first. Know who we are. Understand the state. Then run. I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't mind transplants. I don't like, I'm going to show up in New York and show people how to run things. How about live here first? That's it. People talk about the Libertarian Party the same way. Well, people come in and run. People say, you should have Tulsi Gabbard come in and run. No, Tulsi Gabbard can join our party. I'm happy if she wants to do that. Join our party, learn who we are, be one of us. And if you like what you see and you become more libertarian, then at one point you can run. No problem. But I don't want her coming in and running for president or something. No, she's not one of us. She's just going to come in. No, I don't want anybody just coming in and running. The person I'm happy if they want to run, Justin Amash, if he wants to run. Why? He was Republican, but he joined us 2 years ago and he's still here with us. And if he decides he wants to run, I'm good. He has joined us. He's now he's been to our events. He's met our people. He's now one of us. I'm good with that. I don't want anyone to walk in the door and go, I'm awesome, I'm running. No, come and know us first. Be one of us. And again, Hillary's a transplant, but now she's a New Yorker. Please, I don't want her running. I'm not voting for her, but I would respect the run if she wants to run whatever, Westchester or something. She wants to run for Westchester County Executive or whatever, if she wants to. Whatever. You've been living there. Okay. No worries. Anyway, sorry. Thank you for that. Sam says, Kodos, it's a two-party system. You have to vote for one of us. Man, too. Well, I'll vote for a third-party candidate. Kang, go ahead, throw your vote away. That was the Sims. I remember that, Sam. That's a very good one. Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. Let me keep going down here. Jesse says, I don't like Hillary Clinton. Or she don't like Kamala Harris. Yes, however, Kamala is a Californian. She ran in California. Sad that the people picked her, but that's fine, right? All I'm saying is I want you to live a place before you run for something. That's all. That's all. So yes. Pete goes on to say, New York in the last 2 years has seen a sharp drop in its population, losing more than 400,000 people in the past 2 years. Yeah. When I said hundreds of thousands, I was not exaggerating. Hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers are leaving. Yes, 100%. Patty says, this is a great woman in speech, in history speech for college. Yes, thank you, Patty. I'm not against the history lesson. I think it's wonderful, right? And she's right. There have been a lot of amazing New York women. That's true, right? Absolutely. So great. But again, do that in college. It's awesome. Perfect. So yes. Patty says the first woman to assume office as governor was Wyoming. That's what I thought. Thank you. Yes, I thought it was Wyoming. I was right on that one. Thank you. Thank you for qualifying. Nellie Taylor Ross. There we go. So that was what, 1900s? Yeah, 19. There we go. 19 something. Yes, 1924. Not 1800s. I was off on the time. Sorry, 1900s, not 1800s. So women could actually vote then. All right. So I was off on that one. Thank you, Patty, for correcting me. I mean, I thought it was 1800s Wyoming. It's 1900s Wyoming. I apologize, guys. I don't have I don't Google things. I don't have a team to give me data. You guys are my team. So thank you, Patty, for that. That is clearer. It was Wyoming. I was right on that. I was off the date, 1924. There we go. All righty. See if I go down here a bit more. All right. Michael says, all she's doing is virtue signaling for her base. Totally accurate. Meanwhile, we are the most regulated state in the union. Yep. The highest tax state in the union. Yep. And all she can do is make a dog and pony show for the media. Yes, yes, and yes. Joseph, I can't believe I deal with this for 4, 8, or 12 years. Well, if you guys, Joseph, you and your friends and other people in New York State decide to understand what the reality is and stop believing that Democrats are the only way and the Republicans are going to win this year, maybe we can change that in a couple of years. It is possible. Yes. Kelly says she's embarrassing. What is she fighting for? The state has become a pool of crime, tax, and lawlessness. Yes. That's my point. Yes, I agree completely. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. All right. So if I can go down here. Nancy then brings up, and we don't like you. We need an electoral vote. The 7 counties you carried are dictating to the rest of the state. This is a valid issue, Nancy. And the issue really is, though, if you think about this, even if you chop the state up and you go New York City and the rest, even the rest of the state, it's still majority Democratic state. It is. Right now, it's about almost 3-1 Democrat Republican across the entire state. New York City, it's 6-1 or almost 7-1 Democrat Republican. Even if you get rid of it, of New York City, upstate New York is still, because all the cities vote blue. But what people aren't seeing, particularly Republicans, you aren't seeing, if you're a Republican listening, Republicans are leaving the state. There, of the 400,000 who left, 400,000, 399,000 Republicans, right? They're all leaving. There's not enough Republicans left in the state. That's been my point forever. There are literally more people registered other than registered Republican in the state. That's not an exaggeration. That's actually true. There's about 6.5 million people registered Democrats. I think about 3.5 million registered other, and like 3 million registered, no, 2.7 million, I think, registered, 2.5 million registered Republicans. So yeah, totally outgunned. And it's getting lower because the people leaving, most of them are Republicans. So yes. All right. Let's see if I can go down here. Ronnie says, how did Hochul destroy cannabis? Honest question. Ronnie, cannabis, as I said, should have been regulated like onions. It should have been regulated like a plant, allowing small farmers to grow any way they want to grow. She created the OCM, which is the Office of Cannabis Management. Why must there be an Office of Cannabis Management? It doesn't need to be one. Cannabis has been in the black market for over 100 years now, almost 100 years now, and there's been literally 0 deaths from cannabis. There's no requirement to regulate cannabis in that way. You regulate like any other plant. That's all you do, right? Is it the right thing? Is THC correct? Whatever. You do it, regulate like that. That's all. Let farmers have craft grows. Right now, only certain people are able to get licenses. A license, unless they select you, is going to cost about $250,000. What small farmer has $250,000? If you're a small farmer, you don't have $250,000, which means only big business will gain. And that's what she wanted. She wanted to make sure big business, in fact, to be clear, who will gain most? It will be big real estate. Big real estate will come in backed by big dollars from big banks and big financial institutions, and it'll buy up massive land and will crush small farms. That's what it will do. It's already happening across New York State. It already happened in California. They put the same game in California. And California still has a black market, which means now poor black and brown people will still go to jail for cannabis because it's a black market. It's already happening in Colorado. Colorado still has a black market. So you don't want to create a cannabis market that encourages a black market. I wanted to end the black market. My saying was, if you like your dealer, keep your dealer. Why do I care? Is your dealer killing people? No. He or she is making a transaction just like you are. Make it legal. They go down, get their LLC or their S Corp. They become official. They pay taxes. But now guess what? They can use cops in courts because they're legal now. No need to carry that gun or that bat around anymore. Someone steals your weed, you can call a cop. You can insure your weed. If someone steals it, the insurance company pays for it. You can do that. That's what you should have done. That's what we should have done. She didn't, because she doesn't care about that. What she cares about is her cronies winning and keeping a black market to make sure she can keep jailing people so she can keep giving people checks. And that's what she did. That's how she destroyed cannabis. I hope that was clear. So yes. All right. Hokey Bear, our new neighbors from New York. I'm interested to see why they moved to Virginia. I hope you now understand. So yes. Ryan says, I know the answer to this question, but why are Democrats allergic to rugged individualism? No two people are the same. So why group them? Like I said, rhetorical question, but the question remains. I'll tell you why as a general rule, right? As a general rule, people on the right feel more like I want freedom to do something. People on the left feel like I want freedom from something, right? They think differently on their ways. So how do I get freedom from something, right? I want freedom from poverty or want or fear. If I'm on the right, I want freedom to go do something, to go achieve something. The left feels like if I don't have the base that I require, then I am systemically broken from doing something. That is what most people on the left believe. That's not 100% rule. It's not 100%, but it's a general rule. And that's why the rugged individualism feels like I'm abandoning people and there's no safety net. If more people on the left believe there was a safety net, they'd be more open to the rugged individualism piece, if that makes any sense. That's just a theoretical way that many people on the left think compared to the right. I hope that answers your question. So, all right. Let me go down here. All right. Sam goes, requiring large licenses, fees. Yes, correct. Yep. Sam already answered the question for me. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. Yes. All right. Logic says, on Sunday, Christmas Day, on the way home from Brooklyn, caught a $50 ticket off one of the new speed cameras doing 39 in a 25 school speed zone. Yeah, making things a lot better for me. Yeah. Christmas Day, school speed zone. What school was open? None. Why is a camera there? To make money. You might go, but Larry, it's a school zone. They got to have cameras. No. Let me ask you, does anybody know this? What is a surefire way of slowing people down in a school zone? You know, it's called the speed bump. You're worried about school zones? Put speed bumps. So one-time fee, no camera. That's the problem. It's a one-time fee. I don't get to raise money and give money to my cronies who run camera companies and now have to keep the cameras going and now also allow me to use those cameras to spy on my people and to raise money. So you make money, number one, you're able to pay your cronies, number two, and you can spy on people to make sure they can't do anything for law enforcement, make sure they can put you in jail. Win, win, win. Why would you put a speed bump in? Now you might say to yourself, well, Larry, I'd want a speed bump because I care about the kids. You're assuming they care about the kids. That's your problem. They don't care about the kids. And I don't mean that to be mean. I mean that to be real. They don't care about the kids. If they care about the kids, they'd put speed bumps in. You put speed bumps in, everybody slows down. Nobody wants to trash their car. Speed bumps work every single time. Put in speed bumps. But if I put in speed bumps, I can't pay my cronies. I can't collect money off people like you. And lastly, well, I can't survey my people. So that's what those speed cameras are actually about. Don't think they're about anything except that. If you actually cared about kids, you would just put in speed bumps. And I'm not against that. I'm not. If you got a school zone, put some speed bumps in. Slow down. No problem. Totally works. So yes. All righty. Joel says energy's too expensive. They haven't even started. It will get insanely expensive with electric energy. You're 100%, Joel. 100%. You are right. Yes, that's going to happen. It's nowhere near done. Nowhere near done. So, we got here. So many of these. I appreciate this. All right. Logic goes on to say, oh my God, every buzzword of the hate this and hate that. Yes. What is she talking about? Thought New York State was true blue love and tolerance capital. No. Absolutely. Pete says, Justin Amash is the House Speaker America needs. For those of you who are asking about the House Speaker piece, let me give you two pieces that I think are important. One, without question, you are correct, Pete. Justin Amash is the perfect Speaker of the House. If there's anything I can do to make that happen, I would do it. If he calls me and asks me for help, I'll do it. If they want me to put him on the show, I'll do it. For me to write my congressman, I'll do it. Yes, yes, and yes. He would be the perfect Speaker. He's someone who understands the brokenness of the House, number one. Number two, some people are mad that there are 20 Republicans blocking this. All I can say is, Democrats, you should be jealous. Because when you could have got rid of Nancy Pelosi, your people on your side, you guys all screwed up. You should have been doing this to Nancy Pelosi. You could have stopped her. Democrats, you should look at this with jealousy. But they don't. Democrats are all in line. Yeah, We're completely statist. We have no mind of our own whatsoever. They should absolutely be going, why didn't we do this with Nancy Pelosi? We could have got a different speaker. We could have got what our actual agenda that we wanted to get done. We could have helped some people in our constituency. Why didn't they do that? Because I'm going to say it. They didn't care. They didn't care. AOC is my congressperson. Yes, I accept your condolences. She is my congressperson. Did she stand up against Pelosi? She talked a bunch of trash, talked all kind of trash, and then did what? Voted for Pelosi. So I'm going to give it. Look, I'm not saying guys like, was it Matt Gaetz? Is that the guy? I think it's Matt Gaetz. Usually I'm not on his side. I'm not a Matt Gaetz fan. But in this case, he's actually right. He's like, you guys are doing the same old thing. We're not putting up with it. You need someone's going to change the rules. Amash wants to change the rules. Let Amash in. He doesn't like Republicans or Democrats. He's a libertarian, and he would actually change the rules. He's the perfect guy for it. You are correct. Now you might go, but Larry, isn't this bad for the GOP? I actually don't care. To be forward with you, I don't care if McCarthy is the leader or not. What, they pick some other guy who's going to do the same garbage? Now, if they actually do make the changes that Justin Amash is talking about, then I'm good. And I hope that happens. I'm just not very positive that it will happen. But yes, I agree with you. I hope it does happen 100%. 100%. Yes, absolutely. So yes, thank you for that. I appreciate that. He goes again, just the mods to the house. Yes, absolutely. 100%. All righty. Roger says, I had no idea the governor can edit laws that passed by a veto-proof majority in both chambers, but that's what she did. The Digital Fair Repair Act. Yes, absolutely. Lou Rossman. I love Lou Rossman. I was on a show 2 years ago, maybe, give or take. So yeah, I love Lou. And he moved. Lou left New York. Louis Rossman loved New York, and he left New York. Isn't that terrible, Roger? And we should be ashamed that he left New York, but he couldn't handle it either. He couldn't stand how it crushes small business, how it crushes everything. He saw it, and he left. I completely agree, and he's right. Here's the issue that people don't understand. She can do whatever she wants because the assembly won't stop her, because our judiciary will not stop her. That's why. She pays them all off with jobs and everything, so they just go, okay, great. They don't say anything. And New York State judiciary is an embarrassment. And if you're a judge, you're probably an embarrassment if you're in New York State. The New York State judges, almost to a man or woman, to a person, I mean, that's to a person, almost to a person, only care about the state, the parties, and the institutions. They do not care about the people at all. Can you think about a time when they really talk about the people? It's rare to find a judge who supports the individual person. It is grossly rare. They always support the system. They're all about the system. The system is what matters to help with the people. That's New York State judges. So they're not impressive at all. And she knows that. So she'll just go, great, whatever. So yes. Joe goes, Republicans in the House proving grifters going to grift. Not true. Not bad. Yes. Pete Sucker's going to suck. Very good. Alexander, damn, Larry spitting the cold hard truth. Yeah, I was upset. And I still am, clearly. I got some issues on that one. But yes, absolutely. Yes, it's true. Ryan says, GOP is dying as we speak. Look at the House Speaker vote. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're dying. This may be, look, I can hope. I can hope. This may be the beginnings of a crack in a real change in the GOP. Maybe. I'm not very hopeful, but maybe, right? That's the only thing I can hope for. This is actually a crack in it. That's my only hope. So yes. All right. I'm gonna go here. Larry, did New York State outlaw abortions? Not even close. Not even close. We have the most lenient liberal abortion laws and rules in the country. Yes. I think I would argue that actually most New Yorkers think we're too liberal when it comes to abortion laws. I think that's actually true. Polling would say that's true. But the problem is New Yorkers have been put into a state of fear from our governor. Like any day they're going to start forcing you to have rape babies. Like this is the fear been put into women of New York. They're like, we'll take it. We'll take whatever. Just don't take our rights away. And I understand the fear. It's just not realistic. But they hear it every day. Supreme Court's about to outlaw. It's just not true. It's just not true. So yes. So Patty says, what I hope this speech does is set a fire into some young, amazing females and males and create actual trailblazers and change. Wouldn't that be awesome, Patty? I'm with you. That would be awesome. Yes, absolutely. Pete says, we're in this fight until the last New Yorker leaves the state. Until all of you are out of here. Damn it. All of you are out of here. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Logic goes on. To my point, thank you, my dear. You're completely correct. Social justice, but she told Republicans to get out and go to Florida. She's so about United New Yorkers. Yes. And then before her, Cuomo did the same thing. You unite so much. Everybody's got to go if they don't believe how you believe. Yeah. Not so much. Yes. So, all righty. So if I go down here a bit more. Michael says, because you're full of it. Yes, that actually is the reason. 100%. Yes. Logic goes on to say, everyone except the Second Amendment right. Yeah, that one I don't want to hear. 100%. That one I don't hear. Yes, absolutely. Walter says, good luck, New Yorkers, or leave. I don't want to leave, but I get it. I get why people leave. If you think I don't think about leaving, of course I do. I'm just human. Of course I do. I'm just human. As anyone who lives in New York, you're thinking the same thing. You want to leave because it's so hard. You watched your friends and family leave. Of course. Absolutely. So, yeah. Anyway, keep going. So, Dave goes, wasn't the Blizzard of 77 worse? It was, but less people died. So, yes. Torrance says, I like when Leonard gets aggressive. Here or there. Right? Here or there. Yes. Paul says, the twin tragedies are you and Cuomo. Nicely done, Paula. I would agree with that. Yes. Dan says, woman is so damn ugly. You know what? I'm never going to play that game, Dan. You have every right to believe that. I'm not against you believing that she's unattractive. Nope. You have every right to believe that. I'm not going to walk down that road. And I don't walk down that road because for so long, women have been attacked for that and said they are not good because of their looks, and it's unfair. It just is. I'm not trying to be a social justice warrior. I'm trying to be fair. I wouldn't talk about Cuomo's looks. I wouldn't talk about another male's looks. So I'm not going to talk about hers. I judge her not on her looks at all. That means nothing to me. I judge her on what she's doing for the state only. I don't bring up her looks at all. I feel it's unfair. I wouldn't do it for, if I would do it for a man, and I wouldn't, then I would do it for her, right? If I was like a fashion critic type guy who would talk about, a guy's fashion and a woman's fashion, 100%. Totally fair. I would hammer both of them. But I don't do that. So you have a right for your opinion. I'm not going to bring that up in this conversation whatsoever. That's not what it's about. This isn't fashion police. If it was, that would be totally appropriate to bring it up. If I would attack everyone on their fashion or their looks, or I was maybe, I don't know, plastic surgeon or something, and I was caring about someone's cheekbones or something, then yes. But in this case, no. I do not judge her on that at all, and then bring it up. I just want to make that clear for everybody, not where I'm going at all. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. See if I can grab some more of these. So many. I do appreciate all of these. George says, this is awful. Isn't it illegal to use majestic woodland creatures like this for political purposes? She should not be harvesting trees to stop water flow. Isn't it illegal to use a majestic woodland creature like this? I don't know. Did I miss something? This must be someone else. George, I'm not sure where you're going with this one. Got to help me out with this one. I don't know. I don't know where this is going. So yes. Paula goes on and says, Hochul so incompetent she could wind up in DC. Yes. Sean says, these pet rallies are cringe at best. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? They are pet rallies. You hear people all the time saying, you hear this all the time with politicians, I crossed this state from this to that to this. Yeah, you go from one pep rally to the next where everyone kisses your butt, writes your checks, and claps. I wish it was that good. I cross the state and I go to a local gun shop. I go to a local, winery, a local brewery. I go to a local diner, and people yell at me sometimes, and people are happy to see me sometimes. People are not happy to see me sometimes. I go meet people and find out what's actually going on. It's how I know what's going on, right? That's the issue. And guys, if you want to know what's going on, I hope you're watching my show. If you're watching the show on Twitter, please retweet it now. Retweet it. If you're watching on Twitter, please do that. If you haven't already, followed my Twitter page, Sharp Way Twitter page, please do so. I'm trying to go to a place where I'm not shadow banned. And the same when it comes to YouTube. If you please go to subscribe, and when you subscribe, select all notifications so you get notifications. Again, I think and Sharpway properties. I am sadly shadow banned on the Larry Sharp properties. So yes, please do that if you would. I appreciate that. So yes. Alrighty. Nate says, to be fair, you offered your plans up for everyone, everyone. I agree, Nate. And if I honestly believe, Nate, and I don't, but if I honestly believe that Pete's beat me up on this one too, I thought you wanted me to say your plans. I do. Chelsea, oh, you guys all hit me on this one. I hope she's over it. And that's Chelsea. See, I'm with you. Chelsea gets it. If I honestly think, this is for Nate, Pete, and Chelsea, if I honestly thought that she really wanted to steal my plans, I would actually be on board. And I mean this. If I believed it, I don't at all, and neither do you. But if I believe she wanted to implement any of my plans, I would literally volunteer to get on her staff and to implement one of them, whatever she wanted. I would do so. I'm saying it publicly. I would do it. Of course I would. She didn't want me to do any of that stuff. She clearly mentioned it and then walked away from it and went right back to, but gay and black and women. She went right back to that. She's all about identity politics. She doesn't want to fix anything. If she did, she would have brought that way. So I agree with you, Nate. I agree with you, Pete. If she actually wanted to do it, I'd be on board. If the Republican running would have actually adopted my plan and wanted me to do what I want to do, then maybe I would have backed him or something. Maybe I would have if I actually thought he cared. He doesn't either. How do I know? Where is he now? If he actually cared, maybe I would. But they don't care either. So yes. So anyway, yes, there we go. And Patty says, not ideas, rhetoric. Thank you. Yes. Nate says, Uncle Joe is more invested in Ukraine than New York. God, that's bad. Craig says, New York had a chance to make change, but yet people voted the same bunch of lunatics that have done absolutely nothing to help us for years, nothing but destroy our lives and businesses for the last 3 of those years. New York is obviously not going to change. I envy those that have moved out of the state. Again, I do see your point, Greg. I wish you were wrong. I wish I could sit here and refute you and give you the receipts on why you're wrong, but I can't. You are correct. That's the sad part, is that you are correct. So yes, absolutely. So, all righty. Let's see if I can grab a couple more of these. Sammy goes on to it. Education to move to Texas and Florida. Yes. We get educated so we can leave. Yes, absolutely. Education so we can leave. Absolutely. So Paula says, how do you elevate black and brown people if you keep locking them up on BS drug charges? I'll go one step further, Paula. All the new gun laws that she did, they're all put up against poor brown and black people in the cities. People don't know that. Supposedly, these gun laws, and in her mind, I'm going to get that crazy white militia member out in the woods or whatever. That's who she thinks she's stopping somehow. First off, that person doesn't go do mass shootings. That person runs around the woods and they're trying to defend themselves against people like her. So that person isn't even doing mass shootings. Who's doing the mass shootings? It's the gangbangers. They're doing them, right? So what does she use these gun laws against? The gangbangers. It's brown and black kids. So all those gun laws are also against brown and black kids. So yes, she goes on to say, how do you keep the black family together when you put half the men in jail and destroy the other half in family court? Yes, yes, and yes. Nothing but yes to that. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. So, all right, here. Let me grab a couple more of these. Mark says, I'm only fighting the urge to leave. Yeah. God, I wish you're wrong. You're right. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. All right. Let me see if I can go down here some more. Dave, Larry, do they still teach people not to leave their car running when stuck in a snowstorm without checking to make sure the exhaust is cleared? They do on the news sometimes. I have seen that before. But not always. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Ryan says, Larry, what you're experiencing in New York is what I'm experiencing in Missouri. No opportunity and very little way to improve itself. It's a joke, and that's why I'm moving. What you often find in states that are one-party rule tend to be the same problems, because why would you change anything, right? You're one-party rule. I feel like Missouri is a very red state. I mean, I could be wrong. You can correct me. But I feel like it's a very red state. Democratic Party is very weak in Missouri, is my feeling. Again, please correct me if I'm wrong. I know New York is a very blue state. Republicans have no power here. So it's a one-party state. When you have a one-party state, why would you change anything? Right? Why would you change anything? Yes. Jamie says natural resources like natural gas. Nicely done, Jamie. Yes, correct, but we can't do that, can we? Yes. Mark says, can we harvest the gas coming from Albany to heat our homes? I like that one. That is a good one. Very good. 100%. It's very good. You guys are killing it. Very good. All right. Desiree says, virtue is at its finest. This long drawn out speech. It is. It is. Yes. The sanguine Sophrosine says, slap me harder, Hochul Sama. Nice. People like it. They clearly do. Yes. Nick says, after getting a Pepley Mills, she get all the votes she needs. Political genius, know your base. Your point's a valid one. Your point's a valid one, Nick. And that is, she does know her base, right? And as long as she hits the right words, she does get her bait. That's true. It's a valid point. Yes. It is a valid point. Yes. So Danny, she says, she's so narcissistic. Wow. Thank God for our Savior Hochul. She always brings in God all the time. Yes, all the time. Joel says, ooh, goosebumps. Nope, it's vomit. Yes. Oh, Torrance, home run. Girls can be dictators too. See that? Women, you are achieving the pinnacle now. You can be dictators too. See that, Torrance? You're right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that did happen. Maybe you corrected me, Torrance. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that did happen. And the grandma said, see, you can be a horrible tyrant just like the men. Look at you. I love it. That's good. Yes. All right. Gregory says, I bet not hear from Hochul, my friends, ever again. She has worshipers, the same that Charles Manson had. Yeah, I like that. Torrance, that was a good one. Girls can be dictators too. Very good. I love that. Yes. So I'm going to grab some more of these. All righty. Patty says, you can respect the game and not the player. Agreed. Absolutely you can. Yes, absolutely. Carl says, can counties get together and separate from New York State? No, not really. That's not really a thing that they can do. However, they can go with the home rule that we talked about before and begin to try to wean themselves off of Albany. That's something they can do, but it's not easy. Most of the people, the way this system works right now, Carl, it's so broken. And Ivanson is bringing it up also. He's saying split New York State from New York City, then it will be positive change. There's two reasons why that doesn't really work. I get what you're saying. I do. But there's a reason why it doesn't actually work. The first one you'll find is that they're so connected, right, by overlapping senates, overlapping districts. We don't value the county as its own unit here in New York State. We should, but we don't. So every representative is a mixing over and mix and matching so that how do you know which person who represents you is in each county, which means they have no vested interest in having the county being separate. So the leadership doesn't want you to, number one. Number two, so much now comes from the state. The state has weaned so much away from the county that it gives its money back. So once the county starts saying no, the state says, we're not going to pay you. But the state forces you to pay for things with an unfunded mandate. And this is, I'm not going to give you any grants. So you want to bankrupt the county. And they will do it on purpose. They threaten the county to bankrupt the county on purpose. So there has to be a governor at the top or an assembly at the top that agrees with this idea for it to actually happen. And right now they don't. So the idea is an idea. It really doesn't work with our current system. I'm not against the idea. But if you just split from New York City and New York State, you won't change that much because all the cities vote blue. Again, even if you got rid of New York City, New York State, upstate would still be blue. There's that many Democrats. And people think that upstate's red. By county, New York State's red. By population, it's blue, even without New York City. Literally, I'm not making this up. The data is in. Pull out New York City, and you will still find New York State is a blue state. Why? Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, Ithaca, Albany, Utica. They're all blue. Binghamton. They're all blue. All the cities upstate are blue. And again, the people who've been leaving our state, as Pete has shown us, the 400,000, the vast majority are Republicans. So the Republicans leaving the state, most of them are actually who are leaving out Republicans. So what's left over is Democrats. So yes. Steve says, I saw you on Hardlands Media. Thank you, Steve, for coming over. I appreciate it. Yes, thank you. 100%. Yes. And I'm trying to make things different. So thank you so much, Steve, for that. I do appreciate that. I'm glad you came over. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Let's see here. Torrance says, Larry, you're a radicalizer. Ooh, is that me? Good. Keep going. Love it. You're awesome. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Yes. John says, Larry, I'm loving what you do. Thank you. I'm trying my best, guys. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Roger says 5.8 million registered Democrats, 2.64 million independent, non-affiliated, 2.7 million here in New York. Last time I 5.8 voted for Senator Chuck Schumer. Oh, it's only 5.8 million. Wow, did that many leave? That many become unaffiliated? Last I checked, it was 6.5 million, Roger. So either that was a mistake, or that I made a mistake, or maybe many have moved to non-affiliated. I can hope they've moved to non-affiliated, because last check was 6.5 million registered Democrats, and GOP was less than 2.5. It was 2.4 million last I saw, and unaffiliated was over 3. So maybe my numbers are off, but the last I checked, that was it. So, that's 2020. Okay, no. So your numbers now are 2020 numbers. Look at 2022 numbers. I think I'll be more correct, Roger. I think your numbers are 2020. I think that's right. So I think, anyway, we're close either way. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. Patty says AOC folded 100%. Yes. Yes. 100%. Ronnie says, I must say I'm a former New Yorker living in Florida and consider it a better run state, but all the people fleeing blue states have run up housing here. And it's almost becoming unaffordable as New York. Yes, there's an issue, right? There's a problem. People keep running away. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's an issue. Yes. So, all righty here. Let me go down a couple more. John says, Larry, while I was celebrating Christmas with family, we all discussed leaving New York. And I had the same sentiment as you did. We're not leaving, and we want to make the day better. So just so you know, thank you, my friend. I want more and more of us, right, to be thinking that way. I hope we can change this state. It's a beautiful state. She's right. It's beautiful. Just, ugh. So Rick says Kansas City and St. Louis are blue, but the rest of Missouri is crimson. Oh, there we go. Thank you for that, Rick. I don't know Missouri that well. I've been there a couple times, but not enough to have a real feeling of the state. My gut was right. My gut was that it was a red state. Okay, so the 2 cities are blue. Makes sense. There we go. There we go. Thank you for that. So Torrance says, your topics, the comments, I love being libertarian, sane people here. We're trying. Yes, absolutely. Real Mav 1. Okay, Larry, is it free speech for me to have a flag that says F Joe Biden on my lawn, or a sign saying F George Senek on our town, Hitler on our lawn? I think it is, right? It's political speech. Now, depending upon whether you live in an area that has one of those home association things, in which case you may have signed away those rights when you joined the homeowner association. It's possible. I mean, and I don't know how that works legally, but I mean, is it free speech? Yeah. I mean, would I like that being on your lawn if I was your neighbor? I probably wouldn't like it because it's vulgar, so I probably wouldn't like it. But would I ask you to stop? No. Would I call the cops? No. If I thought it was hurting me, I might say something if I thought it was, but I don't think it is. So yeah, I think that's free speech. Yeah, I do think it's free speech. Do I think that your guy is the town Hitler? No, I don't think that's true. I mean, he may be a bad guy, but I don't think he's that. But anyway, yeah, I think it is free speech. I do. So Carl says, would you consider running as New York City mayor someday? Maybe. I mean, maybe, but it really depends on what's happening, right? How things are working. I think that's maybe. I'm open to the concept. So guys, I want to make sure before we run out of time at all, hit that like button if you would. It does matter if you haven't already. Please do that. If you're watching this on Twitter, retweet this right now if you are. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go to Sharp Way YouTube, subscribe, hit all notifications. It does matter. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for listening to me this entire time. I hope it was interesting. I haven't done a Wednesday with Kathy in a long time. Now I have. I'm going to be back on tomorrow again. You will see tomorrow back on here again because I never stop. So I'll be here again tomorrow. I will see you all very soon.